It was a special day in Tamarack, Florida, as the deputy sheriffs were being honored for their service throughout the year. This was celebrated in their routine city council ceremony, where all the officers were present. The day went exactly as planned. When it was time to announce Deputy of the Month, Joshua Galliardo was awarded with the title and was extremely proud and delighted with his achievement. However, things took an unexpected turn when a young man asked Joshua to come back on the stage with his microphone for a minute. Why did he do so? Baffled at this, everyone remained confused at what's happening. Turns out that the guy was none other than the city commissioner, Mike Gillen. He pointed out an incident that took place between himself and Joshua in 2015. Joshua was called to break up a fight. The commissioner, who had not been elected yet, was videotaping the incident just to collect some proof. But Joshua, in turn, accused Mike of resisting arrest by the officer. The matter didn't escalate, as the charges were quickly dropped when the video proposed that Mike indeed did nothing wrong. Nonetheless, Mike did not appreciate Joshua's actions and brought it up on stage while he was awarded with the prestigious award. He even mentioned that Joshua did not deserve the award and that he wasn't worthy of his position. This was followed by a funny thumbs up by Joshua, who looked like he couldn't care any less. The mayor backed Joshua up and announced that the department was indeed proud and appreciated the efforts of the sheriffs, which felt like a slap on the face for Mike. When questioned about the incident, Mike does agree that he could have reacted to the situation better. I was profoundly affected by my wrongful arrest. I had a flashback and a flood of emotions came back to me at the meeting, and so I spoke up. He said, but we bet Joshua regretted falsely accusing Mike that day. He probably regretted winning the award on that particular day even more, because this video was embarrassing to get through. Number 2, Jamie Kimball mystery. It is an officer's duty to serve his nation and arrest criminals who have broken the law. But what would you do if the suspect claims to be innocent? The second story on our list is filled with twists and turns. Jamie Kimball says she and her friend were out for a chill evening running errands and grabbing groceries with her 2 older children when she was accused of a criminal offense. The Fairfax County Police hit her moving car at 10 miles per hour. Shook by the incident, Kimball was just trying to figure out what just happened. The Fairfax County Police were just performing their duty when they attempted to stop a felony vehicle along Richmond Highway. Jamie Kimball and her 2 kids, who were in the backseat of the car, were approached with guns from these officers, who claimed that the young mom had performed criminal activity a few days prior. Kimball, who was terrified about her own safety and that of her kids, kept denying these accusations, but the cops remained certain about their claims. But here is where things get interesting. When the date of the criminal activity that was accused on Kimball was revealed, a shocking new discovery was made, which changed the face of the case. It was uncovered that the exact same date of the crime scene turned out to be the same day when Kimball was in the hospital having her newborn. How could that even be possible? Did the officers falsely accuse Kimball? Well, not completely. Further investigation suggested that the officers convicted Kimball not due to her identity, but rather because of her car. The case got less complicated when Kimball indicated that the title of the car was only recently transferred into her name. Her new ownership had not yet been updated with the Department of Motor Vehicles properly, and hence the officers who found the car earlier in a criminal case believed the suspect to be driving the car yet again. Kimball pointed out that she didn't receive any alert to pull over. No lights, no siren, no anything. And everything happened so quickly. All I knew at that point that I was in pain. I wanted to know that my babies were okay in their back, and I didn't know why the hell I was being stopped. "Oh," said Kimball. She expected a thorough apology from the Fairfax County Police for the traumatizing event that took place. It's not something that can be taken back. We didn't receive an apology for how we were treated, specifically my children. My daughter's 5 years old and my son is 1, I don't feel like they should have had to experience or witness something like that. We do think Kimball deserves an apology for the damages induced, and we are certain that Fairfax County regretted the way they were hasty while accusing Kimball. Finally, for our top story in today's video, we have this awful incident by Officer Hernandez from Miami. The Miami police officer received immense backlash when the video of him slamming a handcuffed woman on the ground from the car went viral. The officer was captured grabbing a lady by her neck and dragging her out of the back seat of the car and subsequently slamming her on the floor. That's no way to treat a human. The suspect, who was a young woman in her early 20s, was exceptionally injured and laid unconscious in the ground for 15 minutes due to the officer's rage. The rough arrest was, ironically enough, caught in camera by the body cam that Officer Hernandez had on him while he was on duty. Talk about karma. The arrest was based on accusations of vandalism on the woman. As soon as she was cuffed and seated in the back seat of the police vehicle, the lady started disobeying the officers and started spitting on the argument. One thing led to the other, and before you knew it, Officer Hernandez had her slammed on the floor. The rough arrest went through an investigation panel where it was unanimously decided that Officer Hernandez no longer be part of the Miami Police Department. His actions were severely punished, and rightfully so. The paramedics were quickly brought to the scene, and they scrutinized the officer's actions. However, Hernandez kept defending himself and his violent action. The case, after review by the prosecutors and civilians panel, was put under the claims of police conduct, which resulted in Hernandez's resignation. The suspect's father was interviewed about the incident and questioned about how his daughter was doing. Despite not wanting to go on camera, he revealed that he was very much upset with the incident. He added that the happening has taken a huge toll on his daughter, and that it would take a long time for her to get over the physical and emotional trauma that was caused to her. We hope the suspect and her family find hope and courage to get over this incident. And we are more than certain that Officer Hernandez would never treat another woman the way he did ever.
November 13th, 2020, Trooper Jackson Little of the Arkansas State Police conducted a traffic stop on a person who only identified himself as James. Little suspected that James was speeding. There is relatively little evidence regarding this interaction, and it cannot conclusively confirm James's identity. So let's watch the video further and see what happens.
Down all the way, man.
Why is that?
Roll it down all the way so I can talk to you better.
We can talk, right?
Roll it down all the way. I'll ask you and telling you.
What law is that?
Why are you starting this, man?
The trooper advises the man to roll down all the way so he can talk to him better. But the man swears that he can talk with it all the way down. There's no law according to him, and if so, please tell him.
Yes,
we can talk.
I'm not trying to be rude to you, anything like that.
I'm really not trying to be rude to you either, but...
So what's the deal? Why don't you want to roll it down all the way?
Because I don't have
to.
to.
Want to?
You just
trying to be difficult?
I'm not trying to be difficult. Do you want my license registration?
Yeah, if you don't care.
The trooper tells him that he's not trained to be rude to anyone, to which the man responds he's not trained to be rude to anyone. But the trooper replies, so what's the deal? Why don't you want to roll it down? The man then responds, I don't want to. I'm not trying to be difficult. Do you want my license registration?
What's the reason for stopping me?
First off, okay, I'm Trooper Jackson Little with the Arkansas State Police, okay?
I appreciate that.
I'm pulling you over, you're speeding. You know how fast you're going?
I do.
How fast were you going?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay, I got you going 87 in the 65, man. That's a little quick.
The man asked the trooper what the reason is for stopping him. The trooper then responded by saying, I'm going to pull you over for speeding. Are you aware of how fast you are going? The man then responds by saying he's not going to answer that question in any way.
I got this dash cam here.
Yeah.
And it records my speed.
Okay, how fast does it say you're going?
I'm not going to answer that question, but
okay.
I know it wasn't that. This is
okay.
Registration,
how fast
insurance.
You were going,
I'm not going to answer that.
Okay.
I'm really not trying to be difficult with you, sir.
So what's the deal then?
The man then replies he got a dash cam here that records his speed, and he is not going to answer at what speed he is going. Next, he gives his registration to the trooper.
Well, what deal?
Like, why are you just being so defensive and argumentative?
With what?
Everything I'm saying.
Well, I don't believe...
not being cooperative by rolling the window down. It's not a huge deal. I'd like to talk to you better, you know.
I think that we're talking fine, though, aren't we?
The trooper asks him if he's not being rude, then why is he being defensive and argumentative? What's the deal?
With you, but let's start over.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
My name's James. You have my
nice
ID
to meet
here.
You, man.
And I just don't... The reason for the window, I'm not trying to be defensive or argumentative or anything.
Yeah.
I just don't like to have it all the way down.
Why's that?
I just don't.
Why is that, man?
I just don't.
Okay, okay. Everyone's different, I guess.
Everyone is a little different, yeah. You like it down, I don't,
Okay.
The man says, how about we start over? I don't want to fight with you, so let's put that aside from now. Can we try again? I'm James, and this is my ID. The trooper then asked him, I noticed that you like to keep the windows partly open. I'm curious why that is. The man answered again, "Please understand that I'm not trying to defend myself or argue with you. I just want to see things from your point of view. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I just don't feel good with the window all the way down." The trooper asked the man if he thought he was going too fast. The man says that he doesn't want to talk about it and uses his right to stay quiet under the Fifth Amendment.
I don't think it's a huge deal to not.
Something, you know, if you don't think you're going that fast, something could be wrong with your car or something, man. You know, you never know that.
2021.
Nothing like that, man.
I'm not trying to be rude either.
I know you're being nice now, so I appreciate that.
Well, I feel like I've been nice.
The cop again tries to use his right, saying you never know, even if you don't think you're going that fast, something could be wrong with your car or something. The man says, "It's 2021. It's nothing like that, and I'm not trying to be rude."
Sure.
Okay. Those little things can mean a lot sometimes, man. For all you know, you could be trying to hide something, anything like that. So those are just little clues. I'm not saying you are. Not accusing
Well,
you
we're
of
just
anything.
operating within the bounds of the law right now, aren't
What
we?
do you say?
Are we just operating within the bounds of the law right now?
We are.
Then
But those are just little clues, man. I mean, it's
The officer gets cranky and says little things matter to me a lot sometimes. Man, for all you know, you could be trying to hide anything or something along those lines.
me. And you don't have the legal grounds to tell me to roll my window all the way down. That's the only thing. That was a lie.
a lie.
Yeah.
It's not a lie.
The man then asks if they're simply operating within the law, to which the trooper replies they are. The man says it's just a little strange that you're demanding I do something you said you're not asking, you're telling me, and you don't have the legal grounds to tell me to roll my window all the way down. That's the only thing that was a lie.
All the way
Or
down.
anything like that. But like I said, it's speeding, man. It's not a huge deal.
And I understand that, and that's why I feel like we got off on the wrong foot, because you were telling me to do something that I don't have to.
The trooper's just on the stubbornness of why he's not rolling his window down, and the man says it's not the law to roll it down, so he's not going to.
I don't think you violated anything right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
good deal.
No, I think we have a disagreement on what the law says on the window.
Like, what's the deal, man? Honestly, like, what?
Well, there's zero deal.
Trooper continues to ask the man why he won't roll it down all the way, and in many cases interprets the man's unwillingness to assist the inquiry as animosity. Refusing to cooperate with an officer's inquiry does not constitute reasonable suspicion of criminal behavior.
I don't know. Why don't
I'm just curious of why you're so stuck on it.
It just blows my mind. Like, why can't you just roll it down all the way, man? Like, what's?
It blows my mind that you can't let it go. I thought we moved past this.
It's just a little funny to me, man. I'm behind the whole cop thing. I'm just kind of curious why you won't do it.
I just don't.
This time, the man gets annoyed and says, I'm just curious as to why you're so fixated on it. It just blows my mind. You can't let it go. I thought we'd moved on. But then the trooper responds, it's just kind of funny to me, man. I'm just behind the whole cop thing. I'm just kind of curious.
Did it hurt you or anything like that?
I
Did you do my job?
fully believe that, you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm allowed to have my defenses up, right? Do you believe I'm going to hurt you?
No, I don't.
But you got your defenses up, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a natural
All the stuff
thing.
going on, I guess. It's kinda
Sure,
natural
yeah,
stuff, you know?
yeah.
This time, the man explains, well, I guess so. A man with a gun walks up to my car. I'm not happy that my defense is strong. Do you think I'm going to hurt you? I don't, but you've got your guard up, so it's only natural.
But I
I appreciate that.
yeah, I have my ways I got to do things.
Yeah. I was just saying, behind the whole cop thing, I was just kind of curious why you didn't want to go, like, behind the whole.
At last, the cop agrees with what the man is saying and says everyone is different. The officer says that his records are clear, but it's a warning, so he still wants to know at what speed he was driving.
Hang tight here, okay?
Sure.
Put your stuff back, man. Here's what we're doing, okay?
All right.
Your records look pretty dang good. I didn't see a speeding warning or ticket on there, okay?
Okay.
On you out for the warning, okay?
I
I know
really
you don't think
appreciate
you're
it.
going that fast, but
Even when the trooper provides him a warning and promises him he'll not write him a ticket, the man continues to refuse to answer questions.
Going that fast.
how fast? Different beyond that, how fast was it?
I
Did it say
really
go?
can't answer that question.
Well, I'm not writing you a ticket, man. It's a warning, so I'm just curious what it says.
I
I'm
understand,
not gonna,
but there's a formality that's got to take place there.
what do you mean formality?
My right to remain silent on things.
I'm not going to walk back there and rewrite a ticket, man. I can promise you that. I'm just curious.
I can
You have-
promise I won't
you
answer
have
the
my, you
question.
have my word. I'm not going to do that. I promise you. That's on my camera.
Nothing, however, would legally preclude the trooper from changing his mind and issuing a penalty after the warning was issued. After the additional warning, the man's protection against self-incrimination was preserved. If James confesses to speeding, the police could collect his dash cam footage and use it against him in court if they secure a warrant for the digital data.
Hey, man, what's your name again?
My name's James.
Okay, nice to meet you, man. I'm
You
Jackson.
too.
Nice to meet you.
You too. What was your badge number?
587.
587. Is any of that going to be on the?
Let's see. It should be. Yeah, name's right there. Badge number's right there, okay?
Perfect, man.
But yeah, besides that, man,
James was completely within his rights to continue to refusing answer questions due to the risk of self-incrimination and the dashcam video being utilized as evidence against him. James left the scene without incident after receiving his warning and requesting the trooper's badge number. On the same day as the incident, James posted the dashcam video on his YouTube account, although it is unknown whether he took any more action. Overall, the trooper receives a grade of B- because despite maintaining a pleasant demeanor, he gave James orders that were questionable from a legal standpoint and persisted in pressuring him to give up his right to stay silent.
We thought we had seen it all, from mass murders, psychopaths, hooligans, and serial killers to even presidents. Cops have been on a roll arresting people of all types, but have seen cases where they arrest FBI agents. Were they rightly arrested? And do wrongful arrests of law enforcement officials call for the arrest with heavier punishments? Join us as we check a look at bizarre cases where dumb decisions from cops take them to rather odd position. So why don't we just kick things off with a crossover story of an FBI agent who has been wrongfully jailed? In our first case, the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department detained a former FBI agent for no apparent reason. It was a bizarre and ridiculous incident. As it turned out, Roger Golubski, a former detective, had been falsely accused of assaulting 2 black women between 1998 and 2002. There have been 2 accusations, to be exact. The real question is, however, how did the Kansas City police force allow him to get away with it for so long? Roger Golubski's unsolved case was discovered by the FBI while it was looking into the Kansas City Police Department's behavior. The former detective had a history of sexually assaulting women over the course of his 35-year career as a police officer and had been trading drugs for information. Lamonte McIntyre, a young black man, was accused of committing a double homicide by Golubski during his time as a police officer. McIntyre was ultimately freed after serving 24 years in prison without proper cause as a result. Golubski was taken into custody by the FBI on suspicion of 6 counts of sexually assaulting 2 black women. He has since entered a not guilty plea. Despite the jury rejecting his lawyer's request for release on medical grounds, he was kept in custody for routine medical examination. Black woman Rhonda Tribute, whose corpse was discovered in 1998, was one of Golubski's informants. Her case remains unsolved despite the fact that the investigation was started but never finished. She died, and Golubski's involvement is now being called into question by many people. That is exactly what we are saying. Many civil rights advocates across the nation have praised the arrest of Golubski, but it also raises serious questions about police behavior and the abuse of their authority. According to Tricia Bullnell, the director of the Midwest Innocence Project, a full investigation into the abuses in Wyandotte County and systematic reforms are needed to ensure that no other police officers and public officials can continue to abuse their power. As more of Golubski's crimes were discovered, it became clear that the Kansas City Police Department needed significant restructuring. Several inquiries remain unanswered as a result of the FBI's inquiry into the department. Roger Golubski's arrest was long overdue, but it's worth noting that it was the FBI, not the Kansas City police, who brought him to justice. Next up, with the arrest of 2 Drug Enforcement Administration officers by the FBI in Nassau County, Florida, the situation has unexpectedly turned around. The DEA, a law enforcement organization renowned for its aggressive efforts to combat the drug trade, has charged 2 officers with drug-related offenses. But the system's level of dysfunction clearly remains unclear. While selling drugs, including cocaine, that had been seized to willing customers, Sergeant James Hickox was captured with his hand in a cookie jar. His greed knew no bounds as he also combined drugs with other substances to make up the weight difference and kept parts for himself. In his bedroom closet, the FBI discovered 3 shoeboxes, each containing $100,000 in cash. They also discovered another $200,000 hidden in his garage. Hickox claimed that he borrowed the funds for his claim by partaking in his gambling habit when asked where the money came from. Hickox's actions have hurt the DEA's reputation and are obviously a breach of his obligations as a law enforcement officer. Joshua Erie, a highway inspector, had been covered in the same drugs that had to be seized, even going so far as to legally approve the prescription of 43 oxycodone pills. He purchased drugs from drug dealers. As if that weren't enough, while under the influence of drugs, he acquired a gun. due to the fact that he was trusted with the law rather than the law itself. Erie's actions were not only wrong, but also dangerous. The surprise arrest of these officers leaves the public wondering just how pervasive corruption is within law enforcement organizations. Sheriff Bill Leeper expressed his dissatisfaction by saying, "I think we need to make sure law enforcement personnel who violate the law are held accountable. When I learned of the accusations, I was shocked, let down, repulsed, and beyond angry. These incidents where the police ran into the FBI were some of the most shocking ones. We now look at our last and final case. A significant mishap that made headlines involved the case of mistaken identity between a Florida deputy and an FBI agent. When he received a call from a man claiming to be an FBI agent and asking to meet him in a nearby parking lot, Officer Gordon found himself in a precarious situation. This is a classic illustration of what can go wrong if a person doesn't confirm the identity of the person they're meeting, especially when speaking to a police officer. I do, but I don't understand what the problem is with your meeting me at the office. I'll talk to the U.S. Attorney's Office about it. Cut off the recording device now." "Okay, well, I will when I leave the area, sir." "Well, I will when I leave the area, sir." Asked the officer to turn off his recording device. Suspicions should have been aroused. However, Officer Gordon continued to record the conversation, a classic move. This was a wise decision as well, because it provided proof of what had happened, which, as you can probably guess, didn't turn out too well for Officer Gordon. Despite Agent Hatton's efforts to persuade Gordon that he was an FBI agent, the officer was skeptical and demanded to know how the agent obtained his phone number, given the predicament the officer was in. It is not shocking that he requested assistance and handcuffed Agent Hatton. However, things started to spiral out of control. It got worse when Hatton shut the car door, especially considering how hot it was in Florida. It's fortunate that Agent Hatton's condition didn't worsen because Gordon made a bad choice in doing this. Concerns were raised by Officer Gordon regarding Agent Hatton's investigation into the actions of law enforcement agencies in North Florida. Agent Hatton's claims that he was an FBI agent may not have been taken seriously by the officer because he was aware of the widespread corruption within the police department and worried about being connected to it. Let's say his ego overcame him. The hour-long incident took place on December 20 in a parking lot off U.S. Highway 98 in the coastal fishing community, 45 miles southwest of Tallahassee. Due to the heat, Agent Hatton, who was shielded from the elements by a bulletproof vest and had limited access to air conditioning, started to experience health problems like nausea and suffocation. He, however, avoided a fatal situation by being taken to a nearby hospital, where he received treatment for dehydration and heat exhaustion before being released. What do you think of our list? Do you think there are more corrupt officials out there? Sound off in the comments below. And while you are at it, make sure to hit subscribe and leave a like for more such content. Thanks for watching. Law enforcement officers are seen as saviors of citizens. Their prime duty is to save people from being victims of crimes. But what if there are officers who are worse than the criminals they caught? These people should go beyond what you can imagine and commit the unthinkable. Who are these psycho cops? How are they caught? On number 2, we have Christopher Dorner. Christopher Dorner was a well-known police officer in the Los Angeles Police Department. He wanted to be a police officer throughout his childhood, and his dream came true when he joined the police force. He graduated from Southern Utah University with a good score. He had served in the military and had a clean record of his name. But things went downhill after a few years when he joined the police force. How far would you go for revenge? Christopher started receiving bad remarks as he accidentally shot fire and physically harmed a recruit. He also was not on good terms with the authorities. He also made allegations against a field training officer for physically hating a mentally unstable suspect. When the authorities ordered an investigation, everyone turned against Christopher. There were no victims or witnesses. Everyone spoke against the allegation, and this deeply affected Christopher. The investigation report came in, and Christopher was portrayed as a liar who was unfit for serving in the police force. He was fired, and it was more than what he could take. As years passed by, everyone forgot about the incident. Police officers moved on with their lives. But then, There was Christopher Dorner, fired from his dream job and lost his credibility. He was stamped as the big liar, the incident replayed in his mind over and over again. He challenged the decision of the LAPD in 2010, but nothing came in his favor. When we look into his personal life, we can see that his ex-girlfriend Ariana Williams spoke ill of him, and even went to the extent of warning others about his behavior. This disrupted Christopher's day-to-day activities, and he was not able to lead a reputed life. People started avoiding him and mocking him behind his back. His loved ones isolated him, and he was not included in any of the family gatherings. He started suffering from depression, and he lost his sense of mental well-being. He wanted to have a clean name, and he accused LAPD of their hidden agendas against him. What happened on 3rd February 2013, the entire department was shocked to know that Christopher shot police officers and a girl in Orange County. His first victims were Monica Kwan and Keith Lawrence. He killed them because it was Monica's father who was on the disciplinary committee and heard his statements about Christopher. He brutally shot them by saying that he would kill Monica and her partner Keith as they shouldn't get an opportunity to build a family, as that same opportunity was taken away from him by her father. Authorities became alert of the incident, and they started protecting the families of former policemen who were on bad terms with Christopher Dorner. He had prepared a manifesto where he pledged violence and vengeance against those who destroyed him and his possible life. He started shouting at more police officers, and the authorities offered more than $1 million for whoever found Christopher. Towards the east of Los Angeles, there was a small town named Big Bear Lake. Christopher was found hiding there. When the police came in, they found the owners of the condo tied up. When asked about Christopher, they came to know that he fled in their van. The police tracked him down, but he shot a sheriff and ran away. He found another hiding place, and the police threw a tear gas bomb at him. This act of theirs resulted in huge chaos as the place got fire and Christopher was inside. After a few minutes, they heard a gunshot. Well, Christopher ended him and his body burned in the fire. The medical team arrived immediately and identified his body. Christopher didn't bring harm to anyone who was not related to the police force. He did exactly as he started in the manifesto. He killed police officers and their loved ones for ruining his life. He thought that they were the ones who should suffer, as they were the real liars. They destroyed his life and his family relations. Then, they went on with their life as if nothing happened. The story of Christopher is haunting, as this psycho cop had a great backstory to his name. Many came in support of Christopher as they thought that what he did was right. Facebook groups were formed, and a large number of people came in defending Christopher and his crime. They could relate to the atrocities of police officers and the justice delay due to the messed up police department system. A lot of them faced injustice, and knowing how Christopher took matters into his hands, they adored him for his braveness. The Los Angeles Police Department was shocked to know about the immense support Christopher received. They never expected such a criminal cop to get this amount of praise and support. The police officers became villains in the eyes of the majority. Psychologists said that Christopher Dorner is a product of the police department. They created a monster unknowingly. Many instances led him to lose his mind and commit all these crimes. The fact that he is a murderer never changes. It's just we have a better understanding of why he committed all these crimes. On number 1, we have Justin Volpe. Abner Luima, a Haitian immigrant, was detained by Justin Volpe and other police officers following a dispute that took place in that Brooklyn pub. Abner allegedly assaulted Justin and transported him to the police station, according to Justin. Then, using a wooden rod, he began beating Abner and sodomizing him. He used the same stick to forcefully insert it into Abner's mouth. Abner was transported to a nearby hospital, where he was informed that the police had found him acting homosexually. The medical staff did not take them. Justin's attack on Abner was already the subject of a rumor. This shocking attack triggered many people to start protesting against the unfair treatment of people by police officers. Their protest caught the media's attention, and the whole world came to know about this brutal attack. The NYPD was deeply affected as their integrity and honesty were being questioned. They had no option but to listen to what the public had to say and not protect Justin Volpe. The heinous torture he inflicted upon Abner cannot be forgotten. Meanwhile, Abner was recovering from his injuries. He lost his tooth and his private parts were deeply injured. When the case came to court, Eugene H. Nickerson ruled against Justin Volpe. He was given a 30-year prison term and ordered to make reparations of $277,000. Justin admitted that he attacked and sodomized Abner. He also said that he betrayed himself, the citizens, and his police department with his actions. He sought their forgiveness. His family was in disbelief as they couldn't believe that Volpe could do something brutal and heartless. His family was isolated as none of them wanted to have ties with such a psycho police officer's family. They were prepared to face the consequences of Volpe's action. Justin Volpe was not just a criminal, but he was a mastermind for pursuing his peers and physically attacking an innocent man. He made a web of lies to make sure that he will never be caught. His plans collapsed as he never expected Abner to receive public support. The news of his attack went viral, and this incident alone put light on many such forgotten crimes which happened in the last decade. Justin Volpe was put in jail, and he should serve his sentence there as he would never know when he will be attacked in the future. Many people strongly hate him and they might bring harm to him. The police officers have removed themselves from the friendship of Justin Volpe as they don't want to be associated with the crimes of Volpe. Abner has recovered, and he still hasn't moved on with the traumatic incident. He was shocked to see a police officer behaving inhumanly toward him. He couldn't defend himself as he was brutally beaten up and abused. He lost consciousness during the attack. He had to spend months in the hospital to recover from the severe injuries caused to his body. He received support and love from all around the world, and he even thanked everyone for their kindness. Justin Volpe wanted to remove himself from jail, and he tried to get out by pleading before the court. Judge Frederick Block recently denied Justin's plea for release, which he had made using the COVID defense. Justin is scheduled for release in 2025. Do you think Justin Volpe would hunt down Abner again, or would he be a changed man? Let us know in the comments.